What? What's up, you sussy bacas? Today I'm here with Iris and we're gonna be listening to some creepy pastas. Whoa! Well, now I'm gonna go jack off to images of Jimmy's mom. So, here's Gibby. He's gonna take over for me while I nut. Alright, bye, bitches!
Bye. Thanks for the introduction, guys. Okay, I'm gonna read. It's a Peppa Pig creepypasta called "The Ballad of Daddy Pig,"
Oh my god.
and this isn't actually creepypasta. It's a funny pasta, meaning it's supposed to be like really satirical and funny, which
Funny.
I really hope
Funny pasta.
it's a funny pasta. All right, this story. I really hate my grandpa. I'm sorry for starting this so negatively, but I just want to express my utter disdain for my grandpa and his zany antics. He treats me like a 2-year-old, even though I've been to Fordham University twice and work as a writer in a high-class restaurant called Edie Time. Every time a birthday or Christmas comes around, my grandpa will make it his sole goal to give me loads of kids shows DVDs. The worst kind of kids shows like Peppa Pig, Super Y, Little Einstein, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, etc. Hey, do not slander Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse was dope.
Yeah. Okay. My grandpa works as an assistant at. Now, the company name they used for this is literally just Sex with a C. So, my grandpa works as an assistant at Sex and is a professional protege of his boss, Mr. Carface. Mr. Carface,
What the fuck?
who supplies my grandpa with loads of free DVDs.
Fucking
Mr. Carface
Carface.
is okay. Mr. Carface is a fat fucking bulldog who stinks of cheese and weed.
What did you say?
Mr. Carface is a fat fucking bulldog who stinks of cheese and weed. He also can't go 2 seconds without smoking a cigar. Or does that just make me sick to my stomach? Of all the shows my grandpa forces me to sit through, the worst of them, in my opinion, is none other than Peppa Pig. It is the worst frickin' show I have ever seen. I never liked it, even when I was a wee 2-year-old living in the hills of Russia. I'm not gonna bother explaining the lore of Peppa Pig because, quite frankly, dear, I haven't got the time and I really need to take some shit like Mickey Mouse. Wait, no, it doesn't say that. I haven't got the time as I really need to take a shit like some kind of Mickey Mouse. My grandpa and Mr. Carface were fully aware of my immense hatred for Peppa Pig, and Mr. Carface supplies my grandpa with buckets upon buckets of Peppa Pig DVDs, video games, and plush toys. Even
Okay,
though
well, where
Sex
does Mr.
doesn't sell
Car
plush toys.
where does Mr. Carface keep getting all these fucking movies?
I don't know. Sex doesn't sell plush toys. What the fuck? One warm spring afternoon, I was making a fishy Zimbwat sandwich. And if you don't know what that is, well, let me say you're going to find out someday. While I was making the sandwich, my grandpa came in holding a sex bag. I got you a new DVD, boyo, my grandpa said while shoving his cigar into his mouth, or at least I certainly hope it was a cigar, looking like a bunch of hot air to me. I looked at my grandpa with contempt before asking, "Oh, let me guess. It's another Peppa Pig DVD, isn't it, Grandpa?" My grandpa smiled like a wicked onion cat.
What
Smile
the
before saying,
fuck?
"Why, yes, my boy. Yes, it is." My grandpa then proceeded to reach inside the plastic bag and threw me the DVD. It hit me in my chest. And, okay, let me just take my composure. I hit It says I hit me in the chest and causing me to start vomiting outside my intestines. But that's a whole other
I
story.
thought you were gonna say testicles.
It's far too long to tell without a drink in my hand. Know what I mean? I looked the DVD over. The cover had a picture of Daddy Pig standing on top of a hill with flames in the background.
Oh no.
Also, Daddy Pig was pulling an evil grin. The back of the DVD was rather odd. It was a picture of Patchy the Pirate dealing cookie dough with an Emperor Bay tray. What on earth is that picture? What was the story behind it? Anyways, I proceeded to try and explain my grandpa that I was really busy for work as I was working late shift, but my grandpa was having none of it. He forced me to sit down in the living room and threw my half-made sandwich in the trash can.
Oh my
The
god.
the rude carrot onion. My grandpa proceeded to put the disc nearby the DVD player. I began browsing on my phone when my neighbor Frank cough drops
The
came to the
fuck?
window and poked his disgusting face through. Bruce, you must stop watching that DVD before. Okay, let me just keep
Oh
my
no.
composure. Cough drops was silenced when my grandpa threw a brick at cough drop's face.
What?
Suddenly, big smoke came in and asked, "What's all that about, baby?" Never you mind, smoke. My grandpa only instructed as the commercials began to play, only they were extremely weird. One commercial had a local potato farmer getting beat up by a debt collector. Another had Larry the lobster drowning in protein shakes with Richard Bag laughing as he had laced them with a mega colon blow. And another one had BSL Reaction Asylum watching a Mario YouTube poop. It's bread, BSL yelled at the top of his mighty lungs of mightiness.
His
You see,
mighty
old
lungs of
BSL was quite
fucking
high on post.
mightiness. So he screamed from his mighty lungs of fucking mightiness.
Yes. I'm gonna like paste this in like every chat I can. After this, the main menu finally appeared. It was rather bland, and just a picture of Peppa and George playing on the computer with Daddy Pig. There was also horrid instrumental on the middle theme playing in the background. It sounded awful and made my ears bleed out eggshells. There was over 9,000 options to choose from, but I didn't have to go through all of them. One of the options were Rap Rat Talks Back. Seriously, I kicked and it was treated it as a video of my grandpa rapping with Rap Rat and Cool Cat while Daddy Drake was dancing with Go Blocks in the back. It's a hip and a hop with the coolest cat and the best rap.
What the
Drake
fuck?
sang his sickly, strong southern accent. Suddenly, the king of Hyrule came into my house and yelled, "Enough!" I exited out the video and clicked play episode instead. And the episode began while the normal theme song, well, actually, it was anything but normal. Well, for starters, none of the characters were present in the intro, only Daddy Pig. And the snort noises were replaced with farts. Big ones, too. So the episode started with an outside view of Peppa's house. The title appeared on the screen and it read, "The Ballad of Daddy Pig." Now I've seen
Am
about
I
every
the
single
only
episode
one
of
that's somewhat getting scared by this?
What do you mean?
I'm sitting in the dark and I'm thinking of Daddy Pig's gonna come up behind me and fucking, I don't know, fucking steal my intestines or fucking lick my toes.
Okay, we're back to the story.
He's
I've
trying
seen
to
every
steal
single
my
episode of Peppa
bowly
Pig because my grandma
wowies.
forced me to watch them. But I ain't ever seen an episode named that. I shook it off because I was quite a big fan of Taylor Swift after all. What is this shit? The episode then showed the inside of Peppa's house with Daddy Pig watching TV in the living room. Suddenly, Peppa came in and yelled, "Daddy, you need to go for a run and lose that fat belly of yours." Daddy Pig shook his head violently before just saying, "Just a minute, Peppa. I want to finish my show." All this, then the TV suddenly switched to off as Goofy had pulled the plug. Goofy then looked at Daddy Pig with an incredibly cheesy grin. It was cheesier than Wallace's cheese collection. Daddy Pig was then forced to go on a run and was clearly very tired as he had just gotten home from an incredibly long and hard day at work. He tried to tell Peppa and Mommy Pig about this, but they were having none of it. The sick bastards. Anyway, Daddy eventually returned home and fell top of the sofa and tried to take a nap. Suddenly, the TV switched on and Mr. Potato came on the screen holding a picture of Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig's very fat, isn't he, children? Mr. Potato asked before continuing with Daddy Pig needs some exercise. This caused Daddy Pig to shoot up like a brick and ask, "Ew, what?" Mr. Pig then yelled, "Dance, Piggy, dance." It kind of reminded me of how Squidward was once tormented by fat Billy Noburn, another story entirely. Daddy Pig then proceeded to dance to the rhythm of the jingle all the way, while Mr. Potato constantly went on off on Daddy Pig for being so fat. Suddenly, Peppa and George came in, and Peppa yelling, "Work that fat belly, Daddy!"
What
This
the
caused Daddy.
fuck?
This caused Daddy Pig to start tearing up as Mr. Worry came in and said, "This could be trouble." Daddy Pig then fell to the floor and fell fast asleep. The following day, Daddy Pig had woke up late for work and found out he'd been towed by Miss Rabbit for some unknown reason. "Oh dear," the narrator said before Daddy began racing down the hill all the way to work. At work, Daddy's boss, Mr. Hickle, forced Daddy to drop and give him 20 push-ups. Then he increased the number to 69.
Why not make it 420?
As the old Higgy didn't have anything sure for Daddy Pig, so all the rumors were true. Returning home that night, Daddy Pig plopped down on the sofa and Peppa came in and changed the channel, what caused Daddy Pig to say, "But Peppa, I was watching that." "But it was a bit boring, Daddy," Peppa said. Suddenly, Mommy Pig came in and forced Daddy Pig into making pancakes. The secret behind a smelly pancake is to flip it. Daddy said as he attempted to flick the pancake, only if one of them just stick to the ceiling. "What a shit pancake."
What a
Mommy Pig
shit
laughed.
pancake.
Mommy Pig laughed. All of a sudden, Squidward came on the screen and smiled, but a rather sinister, squiddy smile.
What a
Oh god.
shit pancake.
Suddenly, a lightning strike could be heard outside. Daddy yelled, "That's it! I've had enough!" Daddy Pig then proceeded to beat Mommy Pig senseless with a frying pan. He then he then turned his attention to Peppa and proceeded to throw her out the window. Then he proceeded to sit on top of George, crushing him to death in the process. This is so long for what? Daddy Pig then ran upstairs into his bedroom and pulled out a shotgun. "I never thought I'd have to use this," Daddy Pig proclaimed as he ran outside to find the car that was still towed. Police Constable Al Price came up to Dad and said, "We've got complaints about the domestic violence dispute. Can you?" Daddy Pig proceeded to shoot Prince in the head with a shotgun, killing him instantly. He then proceeded to kill Miss Rabbit, Rebecca Rabbit, Susie, Danny Dog, Madagazelle, among others. Daddy then proceeded to reach to the theater where Mr. Potato and his family were filming a dumb Christmas show that wasn't even about a Christmas-themed episode. Daddy Pig jumped on the stage and killed Mr. Potato's family before yelling, "Mr. Potato, I've come for you." "Oh, sugar honey iced tea, Mr. Potato." Okay. Mr. Potato cried as Daddy Pig proceeded to grab Mr. Potato and lift him into the air with his immense strength. Daddy Pig then proceeded to drag Mr. Potato outside and threw him into the trunk of his car. Arriving back to the house, Daddy Pig threw Mr. Potato onto the kitchen side and
You
grabbed a
said
potato
Mr.
masher.
Tit.
Kitchen side and grabbed Mr. Potato and proceeded to mash Mr. Potato into mashed potatoes. Then he ate a messy potato in 2 seconds flat. Suddenly, the narrator in human form came into the house and said, "Daddy Pig is very handsome." Daddy Pig then proposed to the narrator, and the two got married 2 months later, with the time montage being shown where it included their wedding, the moving into Mr. Potato's mansion. Dad, Daddy Pig is seen eating a pumpkin, said, "Pumpkins are the only things that I can eat." Suddenly, Mr. Pumpkin came and yelled, "No, I don't want that." The episode ended with the normal credits, only there was post-credit scene which featured Mr. Pumpkin at a restaurant owned by Markiplier and all the people. "Give me the jam." Mr. Pumpkin said, to which Markiplier asked, "Are you selling drugs, mister?" Mr. Pumpkin's eyes dashed violently from left to right as he said quickly, "Of course not." Markiplier had caught on to the wind of the drug business with Mr. Pumpkin, with the Marcisio crime family, for Mr. Pumpkin was a close friend of Uncle Lou. Too close, one could say that, but I disagree. I'm a big fan of Wii Sports after all. Who isn't really? Suddenly, I felt a revolver touch the back of my head as my grandpa said in a quiet voice, "Stick 'em up, cowboy, not today," I proclaimed angrily as I punched my grandpa square in the face. We then proceeded to have an epic fight with Frank Crop Drops, and the King of High Road cheered us on in the background. "Take him!" Cough drops yelled as I proceeded to beat the ever living shit out of my grandpa. I then proceeded to call the police, who arrived at my house 2 hours later to take my grandpa to jail. The police officers who came to arrest my grandpa were none other than Sam and Max themselves, dumping jellyfish on a sardine sandwich. "We finally got him, Max," Sam proclaimed happily. You see, it turns out my grandpa was involved in a nefarious business with Mr. Carface. They were getting products from the Emperor Bay Trades, who wished to take over the French ward, but Mr. Carface was more than happy to oblige by cutting his ties with the Marcisio family. After my grandpa was arrested, Mr. Carface was caught after, and both of them were given life in prison. Also, a huge chunk of the tirades were put in the electric chair. They may be sticking a firecracker up my ass, but I could not give a flying duck. Life began getting better for me. I ended up moving to Emperor Bay, where I got a respectable job as a property manager and rumored climb boss Leo Glant's accountant. I got paid 100,000 per month, and I used the money to buy a house in Greenfield and have my own luxury sherbet Brigand and the best sports car in the whole ducking world. Meanwhile, Mr. Cosparts took over sex that my grandpa once worked at and turned it into a spotted dick manufacturing plant. I learned something from a Peppa Pig episode, you know? I learned that there are times where you must stand up to the people who insult and baffle you, no matter who's backing team. And when you finally learn to stand up for yourself, good times can happen. Now, if you'll excuse me, dear readers, I need to go take a steamy dump. Goodbye for now.
And that concludes the time that we have. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!